Okay, that was a good practice round. We're going to do that all over again in like 30 seconds when we go live, okay?
Do we have to walk back again, too?
No, you're good. You're good. Sorry, I'm just looking at time. All right, get ready to clap. When the countdown gets to 7, that's your cue. 8, 7, go! We've got back-to-back Radio 104.5 shows coming in October at the Tower Theater, the 9th and the 10th. Thank you for today, the new album coming August 17th. Right now, we are so thankful to welcome Death Cab for Cutie to our AT&T Thanks Sound studio here on Radio 104.5. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. We have a bazillion things to talk about and to catch up. But we love music, we love you, and we want to start off on the right foot. Music first.
All right. Digging for gold in my neighborhood. Gold rush, all the old buildings stood. Gold rush, we keep digging it down, down. Gold rush, so electric cars can live underground. Gold rush, the swinging of a wrecking ball. Gold rush, through these laughing plaster walls. Gold rush, letting all the shadows free. Gold rush, the ones I wish to follow me. Please don't change. Stay the same. And I remember a winter's night. We kissed beneath the street lamp light. Outside our barn at the record store. That had been condos for a year or more. Now that our haunts have taken flight, been replaced with construction site. How I feel like a stranger here, searching for something that's disappeared. Digging for gold in my neighborhood, for what this is the greater good. All I see is a long goodbye, a requiem for a skyline. It seems I never stop losing you, 'cause every die becomes something new. And all our ghosts get swept away. Didn't used to be this way. Please don't change. Stay the same. Describe these monuments, false sense of permanence. Place faith in geography to hold you in my memory. I'm sifting through these wreckage piles, through the rubble of bricks and wires, looking for something I'll never find. Looking for something I'll never find. Digging for gold in my neighborhood, where all the old buildings stood. Digging it down, down. So electric cars can live underground. It seems I never stop losing you, 'cause every die becomes something new. And all our ghosts get swept away. It didn't used to be this way. 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 Didn't used to be this way.
We're live. We're stripped back. It's beautiful. It's Death Cab for Cutie on Radio 104.5 in our AT&T Thanks Sound Studio with Gold Rush, the new album. Thank you for today, out August 17th. Thank you for occupying a good hour and a half of my time last night making my own album cover for Thank You for Today. But the first couple versions featured my dog, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should put my family in there or some Philly scapes or that sort of thing. So thank you for that fun.
Of course. Yeah,
Thank you
no
for
problem.
today.com. You guys, I want to see yours on Instagram when you get out of here. So the song features a Yoko Ono, what's the word? A Yoko Ono...
A sample.
Sample, that's
Yeah.
the word. I don't typically remember you using a lot of samples in the past. Is this new territory?
I've used samples in the writing process quite often. Normally what I'll do is when I'm working on a song is I'll kind of either make a beat or sometimes I'll sample something off of a record or sometimes I'll sample myself, and then that's usually a jumping off point for me when I'm writing. And so when I was listening to the Yoko Ono's record Fly, the last song on the record is this 18-minute kind of experimental kind of jam song called Mine Train, and I put it on and I was like, man, that is like such a heavy groove, and I was like, I think I can flip that. So we started working on it, and it just became the backbone of the song, and it just seemed like, we should just. There was the feel of it was just so heavy that we decided to kind of build the song around it.
Did you interact with her at all in the process?
Well, we had to clear the samples.
Right,
so,
right, of course.
I've not met her, but she is she's one of my favorite. My favorite artist of all time. And I think as a visual artist and a conceptual artist, she's phenomenal. And, I think that there is a lot of unfortunate kind of misinformation and sexism and racism kind of tied into people's view of her music. But I think if people were to dig deeper, if people who were listening to this would dig deeper into her music, I think they'd find a lot of really amazing songs that are people kind of just don't know about. And thankfully, those records have been reissued in the last couple of years. So start with Approximate Infant Universe. Listen to Feeling the Space is a great record, too. It's much, she has the very avant-garde stuff that I think people kind of maybe know her more for. But she's also a really wonderful songwriter, and there's really great songs on those records, too.
I love that. Ben Gibbard's starter guide to Yoko Ono. We're all going home and doing
She
that.
announced a new record like 2 days ago.
Yeah. But to answer your question, we were able to communicate with her through her management, and she was gracious enough to let us use the sample. So we're content with that.
And Gold Rush. So we now have two songs from the album. I Dreamt We Spoke Again, just a few days old. I'm looking at the album title, and I'm thinking of gratitude. Thank you for today. And I felt a lot of gratitude as I was making my own album cover. It's not a song title, so it obviously doesn't come from that. I'm not picking up necessarily themes of gratitude in the two songs we've heard so far. Is it a theme for the album, or where does that title come from? Where does that inspiration come from?
Well, I feel the title is almost a it's kind of a rebuttal to a lot of the subject matter of the songs themselves. I think the songs are there's a lot of kind of looking backwards in the songs, and a lot of kind of taking stock in how, I guess it's me as the writer kind of got to where I am in my life, and looking back on my life to this point, and looking forwards as well. And we start, the title comes from a saying that Rich Costi, our producer, used to say with this Scandinavian band that he was working with before us, and we kind of co-opted it and started using it amongst ourselves. And initially we were kind of just would say it kind of in jest to each other, but then it became a very earnest expression. And sometimes we would say it when we had a bad day, just like, oh, thanks for today, But I think it's a nice kind of counter to a lot of the subject matter in the songs, that while the songs are both looking forwards and backwards, the title, in my mind, kind of reminds me, and hopefully will remind the listener to remain present in this moment, because while we can meditate on our past and meditate on our future, we really should kind of try to maintain a presence in the moment.
And we're in the moment on Radio 104.5 with Death Cab for Cutie. Another song.
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
I want to live where a soul meets body, and the sun wrap its arms around me, bathe my skin in water cool and cleansing. Feel what it's like to be, 'cause in my head there's a Greyhound station. I send my thoughts to far-off destinations, so they may have a chance of finding a place where they're far more suited than guess what we'll discover when we turn the dirt with our palms cupped like shovels. But I know our filthy hands can wash one another's, and not one speck will remain. And I do believe it's true that there are roads left, but if the silence takes you, then I hope it takes me too. So brown eyes, I'll hold you near, 'cause you're the only song I want to hear. A melody softly soaring through my atmosphere, where soul meets body. The silence takes you, then I hope it takes me too. So brown eyes, I'll hold you near, 'cause you're the only song I want to hear. A melody softly soaring through my atmosphere. A melody softly soaring through my atmosphere. A melody softly soaring through my atmosphere. A melody softly soaring through my atmosphere.
Death Cab for Cutie, bringing a little extra magic to our Thursday afternoon on Radio 104.5 from our AT&T Thanks Sound Studio. So we're not done yet. However, if you want to keep listening, if you want to keep watching, and if you want to get on more conversation with Death Cab for Cutie, you should join us now over at radio1045.com, because we're going to continue on the web stream, but throwing it back to the studio for everybody else.
You're clear.
Okay, you're not off the hook yet.
All right.
I want to go back to Gold Rush and borrow. It didn't used to be this way, because I feel like time keeps coming up. Time keeps coming up. Something About Airplanes turns 20 like in a month or so later. Yeah, in a month. The internet at that time was barely a thing. We were like dial up. We definitely didn't have it on our phones. Making music, sharing music, discovering music was completely a different process. Is there something you're like especially nostalgic for or really miss about that early time, about how you made music, about how you got your music out to us?
Well, I will say this. A couple years ago, I think you saw the same show in Portland, but I went to see Dave Chappelle in Seattle. And I don't know if anybody's seen Dave Chappelle do stand-up, but he locks up your phones. So you get a bag, you have to put your phone in the bag, you can't use your phone. And being at this venue, the Neptune Theater in Seattle, and just looking at everybody, I looked around the room and everybody's looking up at the venue and like, whoa, check out that. Oh, it's pretty cool. Look at the molding up there. People are talking to each other. You know, strangers are talking to each other because the only form of entertainment, you know, in that particular moment was, you know, the environment and the people around everybody being with each other. And I think that is what I miss the most. I miss, you know, there are a lot of ways in which technology has made our lives better. I think that's undeniable. However, I do really miss that. I miss going to a show and if, you know, there was no way to kind of like disappear into your phone if you didn't want to have a private moment. You know, if you wanted to be alone, you know, you had to literally go somewhere else to be alone, you know. And I miss that. I don't, you know, I like having information at my fingertips like everybody else. I'm not a Luddite. But just having that experience at Dave Chappelle's show was really, my wife and I were talking to each other like, God, I fucking miss this, you know? I miss this. Like, this is so great to like just be in a room with people and not see everybody on their phone. And for me not to be able to be on my phone either, you know? So I miss that. That's something I really miss from that period.
Yeah, and you know, Jack White's doing it. It's, you know, Dave Chappelle, not the first. I wonder if there's going to be more of that. And the funny thing is everybody complains about it, but then you're in the minute, you're in the moment, and it's like, God, this is awesome.
Well, and also, really cool. I mean, it was really like, it wasn't difficult. It wasn't an inconvenience either. I mean, like, you walked in, you put your phone in a bag, and then it was just as easy to get out of the venue and have your phone back. And obviously, if your phone's like buzzing, and there might be an emergency, you know, you can go outside and they'll open your phone up, you know. But it was, you know, it wasn't as intrusive as I don't think anybody was upset about it. Everybody was excited to see Dave Chappelle, you know, and that was, I missed that, you know.
Last month you played the Meltdown Festival, curated by Robert Smith from The Cure, a band that is celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. Did you have any encounters? I want to know. I was like, oh, I got real wanderlust. I was like, I need to go. I need to be there. I need to go and do that. But B, do you think that far ahead? We're at 20-ish. Do you think ahead to 40-ish?
Well, we unfortunately, you know, I was emailing with him about the festival, which was crazy to be emailing with Robert Smith just in general, because he's one of my all-time heroes. He's one of the reasons that I'm sitting here now. And I'd never met him before, but unfortunately the week of the festival he had a family emergency and wasn't able to get out to any of the shows, which is, you know, obviously we understood. A little disappointed, but we totally understood.
He left us a very sweet card in the green room.
Yes. Yeah, so that was, yeah, so that would, but just being, you know, honestly, just the fact that he knows we exist and invited us to play his festival, that was fine. And you know, I don't know if I can see 40 quite yet, 40 years of the band. Not to say that we won't make it that long, of course, but you know, I think kind of to circle back around to the, you know, the title of the album, so to speak. I think that at this point now, having done this band for 20 years, you know, every day that we continue to do it is a reminder that I never thought we'd get this far. You know, I never thought that we'd still be doing it in any capacity, or that people would care. So, you know, I am trying to be better about just really being in the moment of everything that we're doing as a band, and you know, playing music for people and being grateful for you guys being here, and that I'm able and we are able to be here as well. So, yeah, I'd like to get to, you know, like to be like, you know, with a walker up there, you know, propped against a walker playing guitar. But let's, you know, we'll take it day by day, right?
Two more questions for you. Speaking of Robert Smith and being a fan in The Cure, when you first started to fall in love with music, did you have, teenager, I'm guessing, and maybe preteen, did you have any posters hanging on your bedroom walls of musicians, or on the ceiling, or in lockers, or anything like that? And if so, what was it? What were they? Yeah,
in my locker in high school, I had, and I was able to share this with Norman, but I had a cutout from a guitar magazine of Teenage Fan Club, who are still my favorite band, and I told Norman that at some point, and he was like, oh yeah, I remember. They're Scotty. He was like, oh, I remember that photo shoot. Yeah, it was a guitar. It's like he told me all about it. You know, I had a photo of Teenage Fan Club and a photo of Juliana Hatfield in my locker, because I was totally crushed out on Juliana Hatfield when I was younger. Yeah, so those are mine. What were yours, Dave?
Well, since I was 20, I've had a poster of the Meltdown Festival that we just played, because I lived in London for a summer in college, and David Bowie curated it that year. and I didn't get tickets. I was broke then. So this poster was the only souvenir of this time I had in London. And so being able to play Meltdown was a crazy full circle moment for me. It's still on my wall.
Wow. Not teenage you.
Current
you.
Teenage me had the poster that came with Dark Side of the Moon above my bed.
Blacklight or...
Oh, that came later.
Okay. Right.
Velvet. All right. Anything outside of your own music and this album you're gearing up for that you are totally currently obsessed with? I mean, I'm guessing last year for you around this time it was Teenage Fan Club. Maybe it's always been Teenage Fan Club with that cover album. Anything outside of music right now you're like fully just obsessed with?
You know what? Yeah. Like just in the last week or so, I've become totally obsessed with, I know I'm going to pronounce this improperly, but it's like a Chinese street food called a jianbing. You know what this is? It's like a crepe, and they put meat and like sauces in it, and it's like a crepe, but it's like a sandwich. And my wife and I were just on vacation, and we were in Copenhagen. I had one of these things for the first time, and it blew my mind. I was like, "What is this?" And I'm 42 years old. I'm just eating this for the first time. Like I'm mad. I'm mad that I've half my life to find this thing.
I also love that you went to Denmark to get blown away by Chinese
totally.
food.
Yeah, exactly, and it was really good. But now I'm kind of like I'm trying to find them. When I get home, it's like it's like I'm like trying to crowdsource it. Like, where's the good John Bing?
He dragged me to a John Bing place in New York 2 days ago. It's legit.
That's good.
And he is obsessed with it.
Yeah, I'm totally obsessed.
All right, very
and
cool.
I was thinking, like I was telling these guys, like you know how like do you ever you're like, hey, maybe there's something I'm really good at that like I don't know I'm good at until you do it first, and you're a natural at it. Like if like you were like you played highlight for the first time, you're like you are the greatest highlight. You are like the Babe Ruth of highlight. We had no idea you were that good at it. That might be me with like John Bing. I think maybe like
making it.
No, just as a connoisseur of it.
Or just a
like how people are like they're into wine and stuff. They know a lot about. They're like, oh, your palate's amazing. But me as I'll have like a blog and everything, and
John
people
Bing
from around the world will come to read it to find out where
notes
the good John Bing.
Notes of earth and peat.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Egg and wheat.
And that's like almost a new song, I feel like.
Right.
A professional appreciator. You can put that on the resume, right? All right, one more song. Death Cab for Cutie is here, Radio 104.5.
Love compartment isn't accurately named. Everybody knows it, so I'm proposing a swift, orderly change. Behind this door, there's nothing to keep my fingers warm. All I find souvenirs from better times before the gleam of your taillights fading to find yourself a better life. I was searching for some legal document. The rain beat down on the hood when I stumbled upon pictures I tried to forget. And that's how this idea is drilled into my head. Too important to stay the way it's been. But there is no blame for how our love did slowly fade. Now that it's gone, it's like it wasn't there at all. Here I rest, with disappointment and regret collide. no blame. How our love did slowly fade. Now it's gone, it's like it wasn't there at all. Here I rest for disappointment and regret. Lying awake at night, all night, when I'm lying awake at night.
Thanks very much.
I love that we don't have to say goodbye, that we're just going to say see you again soon, October 9th and 10th, Tower Theater. Still tickets available for October 10th. Thank you for today, out August 17th. Death Cab for Cutie. Thank you for being here. Thank you, guys. One more time. Death Cab for Cutie.